Claire Hudson floated slowly above the cracked surface of the dead moon. Small rocks drifted around her suit, as if space itself was holding its breath. The star nearby had burned out long ago, leaving the system cold and silent. No ships came here, unless they were desperate or curious. Claire was both. She worked as a salvage engineer. Her job was simple: find old things, decide if they were worth money, survive long enough to sell the story. Most days were boring. Broken satellites, dead probes, sometimes the bones of forgotten stations. Today was different. Her scanner kept giving the same strange signal: deep, steady, old. She adjusted her visor and spoke calmly. "Ethan, I am getting something big under the surface. Very deep." Ethan Brooks answered from the cockpit of their small ship. "How big is big?" Claire looked at the data again. "Bigger than anything I have seen. And it is not rock." There was a short pause. "That moon is listed as empty," Ethan said. "No records. No wars. No mining." Claire smiled inside her helmet. "Then we are lucky." She activated her thrusters and moved toward a wide crack in the moon. The surface had split long ago, maybe from a meteor strike. Below the crack was darkness. She dropped a probe. The probe sent back images: metal walls, smooth curves, strange symbols worn by time. Claire felt her heart beat faster. "Ethan, it is a ship." Ethan laughed softly. "You always say that." "This time, I mean it," she replied. "This one is ancient." Ethan guided the ship closer and anchored it near the crack. Minutes later, Claire climbed inside a small descent pod. The pod lowered her into the moon through dust and shadow. As she descended, the signal grew stronger. The metal walls came into view. The ship was buried like a fossil, wrapped in stone. The pod touched down gently on a flat metal surface. Claire stepped out. The air inside her suit felt heavy, even though there was no air outside. The ship was massive, far larger than the small human cruisers she knew. The hull was dark silver, but not scratched or broken the way old wrecks usually were. This ship had slept, not died. She walked along the hull, brushing dust away with her glove. Symbols ran along the surface. Not human. Not any known alien script. Then she saw it. A line of numbers carved deep into the metal. They were not alien symbols. They were human numbers. Claire froze. The numbers were simple, clean, straight. The carving was old, but the shape was clear. Serial ID HSF 00971C. Her breath caught. That format was impossible. Human spaceflight codes like that were used only in the earliest days of expansion, long before humans met any alien species, long before warp gates, long before humans left their local cluster. And yet here it was, carved into an alien ship buried under a dead moon far from human space. Her hands shook. "Ethan," she said slowly, "I need you to see this." She activated her camera feed. Ethan went silent. After a long moment, he spoke. "Claire, that looks human." "It is human," she said. "I know the format." Ethan sounded uneasy now. "That cannot be right. This system is older than human history." Claire walked closer, scanning the metal around the numbers. "The ship metal is not human-made. But the numbers are. Someone added them later. Or someone human built this ship." Ethan did not answer. Claire moved toward what looked like a doorway. There was no handle. No clear seam. She scanned it. The door reacted. Lights flickered across the surface. Faint lines appeared. The metal shifted smoothly, opening without sound. The inside of the ship was dark. Then the lights came on. Soft white light filled the hall. The walls were smooth and curved. The floor felt warm under her boots. The airlock sealed behind her, but her suit sensors showed no pressure change. The ship was still empty of air, yet it felt alive. Claire walked forward slowly. The hall opened into a vast chamber. Tall pillars rose to the ceiling. Strange devices lined the walls. Some were broken. Others still hummed quietly. This ship was not abandoned in fear. It was left on purpose. Claire approached a central platform. Something rested there. A chair. Not a throne. Not a command seat. A simple chair with straps and faded markings. She scanned it. Human DNA residue detected. Her knees felt weak. This was real. Someone human had been here. Long ago. Long enough for history to forget them. Ethan, she whispered. There was a human on this ship. Ethan sounded tense. Claire, come back. This is beyond salvage law. She knew he was right. This was not something to sell. This was something that could change history. She reached out and touched the console near the chair. The ship responded instantly. Lights brightened. Systems awakened. Symbols flowed across the walls. Then, the symbols shifted. They became human letters. Simple, old, block, shaped. Welcome, it read. Claire stepped back. The console displayed more text. DNA match incomplete. Human origin confirmed. Legacy system locked. Legacy, she whispered. The ship was waiting. Waiting for someone human to return. She explored deeper, moving carefully. Every system she scanned was far beyond modern tech, yet shaped to fit human hands. The controls felt right, as if designed by someone who knew human limits. This ship had been made for war, but also for survival. She reached a sealed chamber at the rear. The door was thicker here. Heavy damage marked the metal, as if it had been attacked many times. The door would not open. Not yet. Her scanner pinged again. Energy reserves were low, but stable. The ship could still move if powered. Ethan, she said, her voice steady now. We cannot leave this here. Ethan sighed. I know. But once we report this, the military will take it. They should, Claire said. This is bigger than us. She looked again at the serial number saved in her feed. Someone fought a war out here. Someone human. And they erased him from history. Ethan was quiet for a long time. Then he said, Bring back everything you can record. We will file a discovery report. Quietly. Claire nodded. She took one last look at the chair. At the silent systems. At the ship that had waited in darkness longer than human memory. Whoever you were, she thought, you did not lose. She turned and headed back toward the pod. Behind her, unseen. A deep core within the ship pulsed once, as if it had finally recognized a future. And the dead moon watched, silent, as history began to wake up again. After Claire, Hudson, and Ethan Brooks returned to their ship, they began sending data back to human command. The images of the massive ship, the serial number, and the strange systems were unlike anything in the archives. Human scientists were puzzled, and military officials were cautious. Claire had been contacted by a historian named Lucas Moore. Lucas specialized in old human colonies and records of lost settlements. He was older, with gray hair and kind eyes, but his mind was sharp. When Claire showed him the serial number, he went silent for a long moment. This is remarkable, Lucas said finally. I have never seen a human code like this associated with alien tech. It is ancient, maybe 10,000 years old, maybe more. Claire frowned. How could humans have built a ship like that back then? We barely had interstellar capability in recorded history. Lucas shook his head. That is why this is important. This ship is proof of something most humans have forgotten. Maybe the galaxy wanted us to forget it. Over the next few days, Lucas dug through old, fragmented records. He found scattered reports of early human colonies at the edge of known space. Most of these colonies were thought to have been destroyed by natural disasters or alien raids. There was one story that stood out, a tale of a human warrior who rose against alien invaders. His name was Daniel Carter. Lucas explained to Claire and Ethan that Daniel had been a soldier in one of the first human colonies. Humans at that time were weak, scattered, and poorly armed. An alien empire had invaded early human systems. Their fleets were massive. Their weapons advanced. Humans had no chance in a fair fight. But Daniel, Lucas said. He survived. They experimented on him, trained him, made him stronger. He became a warrior, a weapon in their own ranks. And then, he rebelled. Claire's eyes widened. He fought them back? Alone? Lucas nodded. He stole one of their warships and used it against them. He destroyed fleets. He hid himself and erased almost all traces of his actions. The alien records were rewritten. Humans were never supposed to know this happened. Ethan shook his head slowly. So this ship belongs to him? Lucas smiled. The serial number matches the records of Daniel Carter. This ship was his legacy. It waited for a human to find it. Claire stared at the data she had collected. The ship's systems were incredible, far beyond anything humans had now. The metal was stronger than anything they could make. The engines were efficient, and the controls were perfectly designed for human operators. Why hide it? Ethan asked. Because Daniel wanted humans to survive, not conquer, Lucas said. He wanted them to grow, to learn, to face the galaxy on their own terms. The ship was not just a weapon. It was a lesson. A reminder that humans can be powerful, even if the galaxy tries to forget them. Claire felt a chill. So all this time, humans were stronger than we thought? Lucas nodded. Yes, we were always capable. Daniel Carter proved it once. Now this ship proves it again. The trio decided to return to the moon to examine the ship further. This time, they brought a small team of engineers and scientists. One engineer, Nate Miller, was known for his skill in alien technology. Another was Laura King, a linguist who could translate almost any alien language. They would help unlock the ship's secrets. When they arrived, the ship seemed almost alive. The hull reflected the faint light of the dead star. Claire felt the same pulse she had felt before, a quiet hum that resonated with her body. The serial number glowed faintly on the hull, as if the ship recognized her presence. Nate examined the exterior first. The metal is unlike anything we have, he said. It repairs itself slowly. See these scratches? They are fading. End quote. Another scratch. End quote. Also Devrit. Laura stepped closer and ran her hand along the alien symbols. I think the writing is layered, she said. The first layer is alien. But underneath, it is human. Some kind of code or message hidden for someone to find. Claire touched the console again. This time, more systems woke. Lights spread across the walls. Doors opened smoothly, and a soft voice echoed in the chamber. It was not a voice she recognized, but it spoke words she could understand. Human legacy detected. Authorized DNA required. Nate stepped back, impressed. It recognizes you, Claire. Claire's heart raced. She placed her hand on the scanner. The lights flared briefly, and the chair at the center of the room shifted slightly. A projection appeared above the console. It was a recording. A man's face, older and worn, appeared. I am Daniel Carter. the recording said. If you are seeing this, it means humans have returned. My war is over, but yours is only beginning. This ship is my gift. It is a tool. It is a reminder. Use it wisely. Do not start wars, but do not hide. Stand tall. The galaxy will watch. The galaxy will fear. But it must also respect humanity. Claire and Ethan exchanged glances. Nate and Laura were silent, listening to the words of a man who had lived thousands of years before them. The recording continued, explaining how Daniel had escaped alien fleets, how he had hidden his ship on this moon, and how he had erased records of his actions to protect humanity. The ship had systems to recognize human operators and only respond to them. It could not be stolen by aliens or misused by unworthy humans. Claire realized the gravity of what they had found. This is not just history, she said. This is proof that humans can survive anything, even when the galaxy thinks we are weak. Lucas's words echoed in her mind. Daniel had fought not for power, but for survival, for the chance for humans to rise on their own. The ship was a weapon. Yes, but more than that, it was a symbol. Over the next week, the team worked carefully to map the ship. They powered engines, ran diagnostics, and recorded every system. The ship responded to human presence at every turn. Doors opened automatically. Lights adjusted to human movement. And consoles displayed human-readable information. Ethan tested the navigation systems. This ship can travel farther and faster than anything in the current fleet, he said. If it was used in war, it could take down an entire alien fleet alone. Nate examined the weapons systems. They are inactive for now, he said. Probably intentionally. The ship will not let us use them without proper authorization. Laura worked on the language systems. These messages are layered, she said. More than just instructions. It is a history lesson. Daniel wanted humans to know what we were capable of, even if we had forgotten. Claire walked through the hallways of the ship, touching walls and consoles. Everywhere she went, she felt a sense of presence, as if Daniel's spirit was still here, guiding them. She understood then that this ship was more than a tool. It was a teacher. It was a reminder of courage and resilience. As they prepared to leave, Lucas made one final warning. Be careful, he said. Once news of this ship spreads, the galaxy will pay attention. Aliens will remember the stories they tried to erase. Some will want it destroyed. Some will want it hidden. Some may want to use it for their own purposes. Some, wear Kang. Claire nodded. We will protect it. We will learn from it. We will not let it fall into the wrong hands. Pras. Ethan sighed. This is bigger than we imagined. It is not just a discovery. It is a turning point. Claire looked back at the ship, its lights dimming as they powered down for the night. She felt a mixture of awe and responsibility. She had found history. She had found proof that humans had once stood against impossible odds. And now, it was time for humans to stand again. The moon remained silent. The ship waited. Somewhere deep inside, the pulse of its core continued, ready for the humans who would inherit the legacy of Daniel Carter. The galaxy, as Lucas had warned, was about to remember humanity. News of Claire Hudson's discovery spread quickly across human space. The ancient ship, its strange technology, and the serial number that matched a lost human warrior's record made headlines in scientific journals, government reports, and even private channels. Everywhere humans looked, people were talking about Daniel Carter and the ship he had left behind. Alien civilizations noticed too. Their sensors picked up unusual signals from the dead moon. The ships they detected were far smaller than anything human fleets had, yet powerful readings suggested old warship technology. Rumors began to spread in alien space. Humans had found a lost ship. A human had once fought them and survived. In response, the Galactic Council called for emergency meetings. Representatives of many species gathered in a distant space station. Some were old and cautious, others young and curious. They had heard legends of a human warrior from long ago. Now, it seemed, the legends were real. Humans were represented by a small council led by Admiral Claire Hudson herself. She carried the responsibility of explaining what they had found without causing panic. Alongside her were Ethan Brooks, Lucas Moore, Nate Miller, and Laura King. Each had a role. Claire spoke for humans, Ethan for operations, Lucas for history, Nate for technology, and Laura for communication. "We found an ancient ship," Claire began during the first council session. "It belongs to a human named Daniel Carter. He lived thousands of years ago and fought alien invaders. The ship was hidden, protected, and preserved." Murmurs filled the room. Alien representatives whispered to one another, their faces showing surprise and concern. One of the older alien leaders, a tall being with green skin named Varkan, spoke slowly. "Humans claim they fought us? They were strong? We have no record of this." Lucas Moore stepped forward. "That is because the records were erased. Daniel Carter acted alone and survived. His actions were hidden to protect humanity. Now, we have proof. The ship and its technology are real." Another alien, a smaller creature named Jilak, looked worried. "If humans now have this technology, what will they do with it?" "See," Claire shook her head. "We do not want war. We do not want to conquer. We want to learn and remember. This ship is a lesson. It is a reminder of what humans are capable of, not a threat to anyone." The council continued for hours. Some species demanded the ship be destroyed to avoid a new war. Others wanted it hidden, believing humans were not ready to use such power responsibly. Human voices argued for study, for respect, for patience. Claire and her team insisted that the ship could not be ignored. After the meetings, the team returned to the moon. The ancient ship awaited them silently, as if aware that humans had begun to claim their legacy. Claire touched the hull. The pulse inside the core responded. Soft lights shimmered across the surface, and systems hummed to life. Nate Miller began running full diagnostics. "We can move this ship," he said. "Engines are functional. Power reserves are sufficient. If we want, we could fly it anywhere." Ethan looked at the control panels. "It responds to human DNA only. It will not let anyone else operate it. If aliens try, they cannot touch it." Laura worked on the language systems again. "There are hidden layers of messages from Daniel Carter," she said. "Instructions, history, warnings. He wanted humans to understand our past and our future. He left lessons as well as tools." Claire felt a new sense of responsibility. They were not just scientists or explorers. They were inheritors of a human legacy that had been erased. As they studied the ship, alien fleets began to appear near human space. They did not attack. They observed. Sensors picked up dozens of vessels from multiple civilizations. The aliens were cautious but alert. They remembered legends, and now they feared reality. Claire spoke to the council again, this time via secure channel. "We only claim our history. We will not use this ship to threaten anyone. We only wish to show that humanity exists, that we have always been strong, and that we deserve to be respected." Some alien leaders still protested. One of them, a being named Kreth, spoke sharply. "Humans are small. Their technology is new. Their fleets are weak. Why should we respect them?" Lucas Moore answered calmly. "The human warrior Daniel Carter defeated fleets much stronger than anything humans now have. Do not underestimate our capacity to survive and grow. We will not start war, but we will defend ourselves if forced. As tensions rose, Claire and her team decided to test the ship's systems further. They powered up the engines, opened internal storage compartments, and accessed navigation controls. The ship's AI, ancient but sophisticated, guided them. It was not programmed for attack, only for defense and survival. Ethan flew small test maneuvers. The ship moved smoothly through the moon's orbit, almost like it remembered how to fly from centuries before. Nate examined weapon systems, but they remained inactive. The ship would only activate them with proper authorization, a safety designed by Daniel himself. Laura discovered the ship's recording systems contained more messages. Daniel had left personal logs. He described battles, strategies, and decisions he had made to survive against overwhelming odds. He wrote about courage, discipline, and unity. Humans are stronger together, one message read. They will rise when the galaxy forgets them. They must never hide, but they must never harm without reason. Claire felt a mixture of awe and fear. Humans had been capable of incredible strength, but that power had been hidden. Now, it had awakened. The Galactic Council reconvened. Alien fleets remained at the edge of human territory, observing quietly. Some came close to threaten, but none fired. They remembered the stories, and now they were cautious. Claire spoke again, this time addressing both humans and aliens. This ship is a warning and a promise. Humans are no longer the weak species you once knew. We will protect ourselves. We will study our history. We will grow. We do not seek war, but we will not hide either. Respect us, and there will be peace. Underestimate us, and you will regret it. The room was silent. For a moment, no one moved. Then, murmurs spread among the aliens. Fear and respect began to mix. Some whispered about the lost warrior. Others wondered if humans had changed. Back at the moon, the ship's systems pulsed faintly. Its lights reflected on the barren surface. The crew worked tirelessly, learning its technology, decoding messages, and preparing for the future. Claire walked the halls, touching walls and consoles. She imagined Daniel Carter walking these same corridors, fighting impossible odds. She understood that the warrior had left more than a ship. He had left hope, resilience, and a challenge. Humans could survive the galaxy, no matter the threat. Ethan looked at the sensors again. They are waiting, he said. Aliens, humans, everyone. The galaxy is watching us now. Nate smiled. And we are ready. The ship will not fight alone. It is a symbol. It is a teacher. It is history, alive. Laura added quietly. And stories last longer than weapons. The days turned into weeks. Humans used the ship to explore distant systems carefully, mapping old routes and scanning for remnants of past conflicts. Alien fleets observed silently, cautious but intrigued. The galaxy began to speak in whispers. Humans were no longer weak. They were capable of surviving, defending, and learning from history. The legend of Daniel Carter, the ancient warrior, returned to life, now carried by living humans. Claire stood on the bridge. Looking at the stars, she felt the pulse of the ship under her feet, steady and calm. We are not alone, she whispered, but we are ready. Ethan put a hand on her shoulder. The galaxy will remember humanity now. Claire nodded. And we will not forget ourselves. Deep inside the ship, a chamber opened silently. More messages and records glowed faintly. The legacy of Daniel Carter was far from complete. The warrior's history, strategies, and warnings waited for those who could understand. And as humans took their first steps into a galaxy that once doubted them, The story of resilience, courage, and survival spread quietly, like a shadow and a promise. The galaxy had noticed. It remembered. And humans were ready to stand. The ancient ship rested quietly on the moon while humans prepared for their next step. Claire Hudson stood on the observation deck, looking at the stars. The galaxy was watching. Alien fleets lingered near human space, and whispers of humans reclaiming lost power traveled through countless systems. The time for hiding was over. "We cannot wait," Claire said, turning to Ethan, Lucas, Nate, and Laura. "The galaxy needs to see us, not just hear rumors." Ethan nodded. "We show them carefully, not with weapons, but with truth. The ship alone is proof." Lucas stepped forward. "And truth is stronger than fear. Daniel Carter survived because he understood that. We must do the same." 2. They decided to bring the ship to a human space station near the edge of known space. It was the first public display of human history and strength in centuries. News spread quickly. Humans everywhere watched as the ship appeared in orbit, gleaming under distant starlight. Alien leaders reacted cautiously. Some sent envoys to negotiate. Others stayed away, afraid to provoke humans. All of them remembered the legends of Daniel Carter. And now, the legends were real. Claire addressed the Galactic Council for the final time. She spoke without anger, without threat, only with honesty. "We are humans," she said. "We were once small, scattered, and weak. But we survived. We grew. The ship, you see, belongs to one of our ancestors, Daniel Carter. He fought impossible odds and survived. He left this ship not to threaten, but to show that humans are capable. We do not want war. We only want respect and truth." The council listened. Some aliens whispered to one another. Some looked nervous. Finally, Varkan, the elder alien, spoke. "Humans, you survived and returned stronger than we imagined. The galaxy remembers you now." Claire nodded. "And we will remember ourselves. We do not seek to dominate. We seek to exist, to learn, and to grow." The council debated, but no one dared to challenge humans directly. The proof was clear. The ship was ancient, powerful, and human-controlled. It was a warning and a promise, a lesson from the past. After the council session, humans worked to explore more lost systems. Nate Miller and Laura King studied the ship's hidden technology. Engines that could travel far beyond human limits, shields that could resist any attack, weapons designed to neutralize threats without unnecessary destruction. Every system was advanced but safe, designed for survival, not conquest. Claire spent her days walking the halls of the ship. She felt Daniel Carter's presence everywhere. It was not frightening. It was guiding. The ship responded to her touch, to her movement, to her voice. Every room, every console, every light was carefully crafted to remind humans of their strength. Ethan piloted the ship during test flights. It moved smoothly through space, faster than any fleet could keep up with. Sensors scanned old colonies and lost outposts. Humans were rediscovering their past, piece by piece. Every new record, every artifact, every planet rediscovered, reminded humans of what they had survived and how strong they could become. One day, Laura discovered something remarkable. Hidden messages from Daniel described strategies to survive alien invasions, tips on understanding alien minds, and methods to unite scattered human colonies. It was more than history. It was a guide for the future. "He wanted us to grow," Laura said quietly. "To be ready. Not for war, but for life among the stars. Claire smiled. We are ready. We have learned from the past. We will not hide anymore. As the ship traveled near a border system, alien scouts approached. They were cautious, scanning the ship, but they did not attack. They sent messages instead. Varkon's voice came through a translator. Humans, we have observed your actions. Your ancestor fought us long ago. Now, you show the same strength. We will not interfere, but we will watch. Claire responded. We ask only for peace. We will not threaten anyone, but we will protect ourselves. Over time, the galaxy began to change. Whispers of human courage spread quickly. Species that once dismissed humans as weak began to take notice. Human fleets were small, but disciplined. Humans no longer hid their presence. They learned from the ship, from technology, and from Daniel Carter's teachings. On the ship, the crew discovered a final set of messages. These were personal logs from Daniel. He spoke about hope, patience, and the importance of unity. Humans must never forget, he said. The galaxy will try to erase you. It will try to make you small. But you will survive. You will rise if you remember who you are. You will be stronger together, not alone. Use this ship to learn, not to conquer. The galaxy may fear you, but it must respect you. Claire sat quietly after hearing the last message. The words echoed in her mind. Humanity's past had been hidden, but its future was wide open. The ship had waited for centuries for humans to return. Now it was theirs, not for war, but for knowledge, protection, and inspiration. Ethan stood beside her. Do you think they understand us? Some do, Claire said. Others will learn. Patience is part of the lesson. Nate and Laura continued to unlock hidden functions. Shields that could protect entire colonies, energy systems that could power cities, tools for communication that could reach lost human settlements. Every discovery reminded them that humanity's potential was far greater than anyone imagined. The Galactic Council, observing carefully, began to accept humanity as a serious presence. Treaties were signed. Borders respected. Humans gained allies among species that once ignored them. The legends of Daniel Carter became living truth. Claire walked the deck one last time before returning to the human station. She looked at the stars and whispered, "We have found our past, and now we will shape our future." Ethan smiled. The galaxy is watching. Let them see humans for what we are. As the ship's core pulsed quietly, a soft light spread through its halls. The message was clear. Humanity had survived, learned, and returned. They did not need to conquer to prove themselves. Courage, resilience, and wisdom were enough. Humans returned to their colonies with new confidence. Systems long forgotten were reconnected. Old records were recovered. Knowledge spread faster than ever. The story of Daniel Carter and the ancient ship became a symbol, not of war, but of hope. One evening, Claire stood at the bridge, looking at the distant galaxy. Alien fleets drifted in quiet observation, but they no longer seemed hostile. Humans had shown strength, patience, and honor. The galaxy had begun to respect them. We are remembered, Claire said softly, and now we can write our own story. Ethan nodded. Let's make it a good one. Deep inside the ship, hidden chambers still held secrets. Technology, messages, and records waited for humans to discover. The legacy of Daniel Carter was complete, but it was not finished. Humanity would continue to grow, to explore, and to defend itself. The galaxy had seen humans rise from forgotten colonies to powerful survivors. The story of resilience, courage, and legacy spread quietly, touching alien worlds and human systems alike. And as humans looked to the stars, they no longer felt small. They were a force shaped by history, tempered by patience, and guided by the memory of a warrior who had fought so long ago to ensure they could one day stand among the stars. The ancient ship's lights dimmed softly. The pulse continued. The galaxy had remembered humanity, and humanity would never forget itself.